All right, ladies. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing amazing. If you can hear me okay, put live in the chat. Put live in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Sorry for my tardiness. um, Trying to make sure I get my notifications out, and then we are literally in the middle of preparing for some big shifts, even in my personal life. So welcome, welcome. Hey, Elocin. Hello, hello. I know this is a very sensitive topic to discuss, and I get it, right? I get it. I think as the world continues to shift, let me see, I got this. Maybe I can take this off. It's bothering me. Can y'all hear me? Is this very clear? Um, so as you know, I'm Coach Jay. I am a business and I am a leadership coach. I specialize in helping women with offers and helping them with their messaging, their content, all the good stuff so they can sell them and scale with master classes. And so that's what I do. But I also, as I was talking to, my clients and some of the women that I have, enrolled in different courses and live courses and master classes, etc., that I also look at the entire landscape of the woman's thought process and our emotions, our what sets us apart from the men, and our genetic makeup, our thought process, our brain mechanisms, how we make decisions, how we view relationships, and in congruence with, in so many ways, with the patriarchy. And so everything that I've been able to study over the past few years has come down to these moments of realization. And these are things that I kind of tipped off to a long time ago, was that we are moving into a period, or into an era, if you will, where there's going to be a lot of turbulence. There's going to be a lot of women that are going to be very disappointed, and there's going to be just this a little bit of a disappointment, especially to ladies in waiting. So ladies in waiting, you're probably going to have a little bit of a hard time with this conversation, but I do want to also provide some level of hope and some ways that you can actually, you know, um, get yourself together if that's something that you want to do. Um, Hold on, let me get this. I want to make sure I am on track for my agenda tonight. Who's live? I see Allie is live. I see Sasha is here. Sharita is here. Who else is watching live? And where are you watching live from? Where are you watching live from? Feel free to also like this video, not just in the chat section, but in the video itself. That helps boost the algorithm for, of course, for people to watch later. But yes, I love it. Hey, Allison. So thank you, Whitney. Hey, Alabama. I love it. I love it. North Carolina, Sharita. I love it. So I just kind of want to give y'all some insight. Oh, another North Carolina. Sharita, Alan. I love it. Y'all in the same state. Um, So disclaimers, because I have to do that. And those of you who know me, I have to explain this every time. There are some people who don't know me, who never heard me before, and this is their first time listening to me. So some of the stuff that I'm going to say is repetitive. But I am pro-marriage, okay? I am a divorcee. but I do believe in marriage. Okay. I do believe in marriage if it's healthy, if the woman feels safe, secure, loved, adored, which she's supposed to be. I do believe that the man should honor his word that he proposed to his wife. Washington, D.C., yes. Um, and I think that when we look over the scope of the world and the system, because you have the system and then you have the earth, right? So you have systematic things that the patriarchy has put in place to have order. I mean, that's just facts, right? And then we have on the other side of the spectrum, which is Earth, which is our home, it's the planet, it's abundance. It's always reminding us that it's here to support us. Agriculture is one of the biggest ways that the planet speaks to us. And I really do believe in so many ways that the patriarchy set things in place. Whoever set the system up, whoever agreed and said this is how we're going to run it, and which was a masterpiece in so many ways. Like if you're studying sociology, I mean, it's kind of messed up, but at the same time, it's like, dang, they really did do a lot of quote unquote witchcraft. They did a lot of witchcraft on us folks. To set the system up the way they did. So very interesting concept for sure. But so I'm pro those things, right? And I love men. I think men are beautiful. I think men are amazing, but I also am very disappointed in men at large. I am. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm very disappointed in them. I'm disappointed in the fathers. Not speaking specific. So I want people to not feel like I'm talking about their husband or their lover or their partner. Well, my husband's good or my boyfriend is amazing. No, I'm talking about its scale, okay? Because some people will take that as offense. You talking about my husband. So I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. I'm talking about fathers at large that did not teach their sons the game, right? And then I'm also pretty disappointing in the mothers for not teaching the daughters the game, right? So when it comes down to the game, what is the game? The game is how do we create sort of a how do we create some sort of a system where we can allow the children to learn about relationships, learn about themselves, learn about the system that they're in, and then also honor and respect the other gender, right? So a couple of things I want to just put also out on the forefront. The reason why I said that women probably need to understand that there's going to probably be a delay in dating is because of the times we're in. I knew that these days were coming. If you remember the late Kevin Samuels, I believe that he was in so many ways a plant. This man ushered in a completely different, transparent veil lifted on the real nature of men at large. Before that, you had to kind of guess, you were kind of hopeful, but I think that when Kevin Samuels came into the picture and the whole shift in 2020, where everybody was at home and people began to see for real, the nature of most men, not all men, but many of them. And it was very interesting how a lot of men grew to side with Kevin. I have been following Kevin and I told people this, I told my friends this, and I shared, things with them, like videos with him, of him with them. And I was following him when I was in Texas. And when I started following him, a friend of this girl that I was connected to on Instagram years ago, she was Nigerian. I just can't find her now. I don't know where she is, but I know she moved to Dallas at one point. But she was the one that got me very into the femininity piece. And this was probably way back in like 2018-ish. And Kevin Samuels was at that point, I think he was just working with men and women at the time, but I remember he was first working just with men. And he used to go off on the men. And then he started working with women and men. And then eventually, I think he just kind of shifted to more focusing on women. And I definitely, you know, looked at some of the things that he talked about, and he was just talking about how women need to, lose weight, and women need to carry themselves like this if they want to land a high value. So that, because every time I say high value now, it just kind of makes me cringe because we've kind of worn that phrase out. But back then, it was kind of gate kept. Like a lot of people didn't even know about that. And that's when I started dating kind of upwards. I started dating older men. And it was fun for me. I was like, oh, this is kind of it. Okay. So I lost a lot of weight, and I started to find myself in circles where I was like, okay, meeting all kinds of interesting people. And so I knew that to be true. But then I remember the one video that just kind of set on fire. And I knew at that point, I was like, what the heck? The video where he and this woman, he rated her on a scale and it went viral. And I believe it was on Instagram when I remembered that time. And it went everywhere. And I was like, what the F? Like, oh my gosh. And I knew, and I was dating someone at the time. And I knew that when I saw that video, and I was like, this is it. Like, everybody is going to just look at this and take it the wrong way. And people did. I mean, and it just skyrocketed from there. It just caught on fire. And then he just started to understand that the money was with a lot of these women who really didn't understand what he was doing. And so I guess he just leaned into that. He got a little hungry, and the rest is history. He's no longer with us on this side. But then a lot of the Andrew Tates and some of these other podcasters started to catch on. They wanted to be kind of like Kevin Samuel's disciples, but they took the message and completely ran it off the track. So it went from high value conversations, which none of them were, into conversations about demeaning women at large, period. And how women are no more seen than just an object, just seen as a piece of meat, objectifying women. And that's literally nowhere near what this whole high value movement was all about. And so now we're in 2024, 4 years, almost 5 years after the pandemic, because I don't want to, say it and spark the YouTube. Yeah, I think Allison said I used to watch Young Pharaoh in 2020. He lifted the veil on so much. Yep, he sure did. I do, and I see he's come back. I see he's trying to come back and do some content. But one of the things I want to say is that we knew that when people began to get hip to what men really felt about us, and how men that really have not developed themselves, and I'm talking about single men at large, how many single men began to objectify women, even to the point where violence was ensued and women were minding their business. And I just kind of like, wow, like we're really here. And being someone who has been married twice, right? And I will say this, I'm going to be very honest. I did not have like total negative dating experiences. I was always treated in my face, and I always have to say in my face because behind my back, it was something totally different, but I've always been treated in my face with respect. And that's why I always tell women, like, I didn't have a negative dating experience. Like, I didn't have a man that was like completely like abusive towards me. I know neither one of my husbands were abusive. None of them were, treated me like crap. It was when I didn't see them, that was kind of up to question. And then on top of that, even men that I've dated, I did not have a negative dating experience. But again, to my face, they were everything. But as soon as it went dark or they weren't around me, there was something else, right? So, and of course, spirit speaks to me very clearly, and things began to come up to surface about them. And I was like, okay, so if this is true, like bring it up to surface so I can just call them out on it. And it did. So But one of the things I will say too is that as someone who has done the work on myself, okay, this is why I don't have a negative view on marriage, because my marriages, I was able to sit at home with my baby. I know what it's like to be a kept woman. I've been kept before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been a stay-at-home mom with my baby. I've been able to, my husband would tell me to, baby, just leave your job, focus on what you want to focus on, or whatever. I had that experience. A lot of women didn't have that and don't have that. So that's why I said, like, even now, I had to work on myself a lot to get out of this spoiled princess treatment syndrome, because a lot of that was because I had someone to be in the house and take care of everything for me. Y'all give me a drill? So now that, like I said, we're here and we're looking at society at large, a lot of women, no matter what color, from a class perspective, a lot of women are disappointed with the relationship dynamics that have dominated our society. And I think that we have to come to realization that, do we come to the exception? Like, do we become the exception? Do we hope that we are going to be different? And I know there's a lot of ladies in waiting. There's women that have never been married before, that want to have children, and they feel very, very discouraged that they don't see suitors, because you should not have a boyfriend. You should have suitors, right? So there is no such thing as boyfriends. Quiet. You can refresh your screen if you want to. You're like, oh, oh, you don't have boyfriends. You're supposed to have suitors. Okay. Especially if you are a woman who understands value. Okay. You are the feminine. Okay. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So when it comes down to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? Love and relationships and it's right in the middle, okay? So after your physiological needs have been met, after you feel safe, which means that some of y'all are looking for partners and spouses in the wrong space, and nobody really told you that. And I think it's very unfortunate that we have a society where they teach women to get married very young and have babies very young, when these women don't know anything about themselves. And I think that that is why there's so many men that take advantage of young women, because they don't know anything. They don't know anything about their bodies. They don't know anything about being satisfied. They don't know anything about how to work or how to defend themselves. They don't know how to communicate effectively. They are emotionally stunted, which is also why a lot of indoctrinated systems start with children. They start them as babies. They start them when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, and they get them in that theta state, right? When they're still open to programming. Their minds and their programming, their prefrontal cortex have not formed. And so you grow up having this non-relationship to yourself, because you don't know who you are. You don't know what you're about. You don't even know what you want. So you have been kind of bamboozled to accept a life that you really don't really understand what you're signing up for. You just know that you're supposed to cook and clean, have babies, and, help out if you need to help out. The man is not usually held accountable. And you can tell by the laws and how we treat men in this country versus how we treat women. Okay. Mothers are very important. Women are portals. So the reason why women are definitely ran after is for one reason, one main big reason only, and that is to birth in labor. Okay. I want y'all to understand that at the core of who you are, to the patriarchy, you are just a portal for births. a portal for people, a portal for souls to come in and labor. Literally, that's what the patriarchy sees you as. Now, if you are blessed to have someone, okay, to have someone who sees you differently and has love attached to him, and he understands what it's like to respect the woman, what it's like to adore the woman, because he saw that in his father. He saw that with men that he grew up with and how they admired and adored the women in their own family. You got a good one, right? So if you've always been treated, if you're a boy or if you're a male and you always saw men in your families treat the women right, and they schooled you on it, they schooled you how to take care of your family, you can land a man that has the understanding, right? That supporting my wife that's my responsibility. A wife is a responsibility. You're supposed to keep a wife. So men are enrolling in and completing college at lower rates than women. Okay. So women are just pushing pushing it along up when it comes down to education, when it comes down to work, when it comes down to building businesses. Women are doing what needs to be done. And I'm going to talk specifically to Black women real quick, and then I'm going to go back to all women. Black women, for sure. Most of us were not vetted. We didn't know how to vet. That's what I'm trying to say. We didn't know the rules. We were told, and I know this for sure for me. For me, I was told to go to college so you can take care of yourself. I was told to put my career first so I don't have to rely on a man for money. A lot of women do not understand that. We were not taught to go to college and get our education, but also to possibly find your husband as well. No, we weren't taught that. We weren't taught to go hang out at the engineering building. We weren't taught to go hang out or kind of be around the sciences and the law building. We weren't taught to be around those things. We were not. Okay. We were told to stay focused. Okay. Stay focused and get your degree and get your booty out of there and get your job. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want women to understand that it's not your fault per se, right? You had to do what you had to do per your mother, your grandmothers, your aunts, and a lot of us saw our mothers struggle with husbands, going 50-50 with husbands. We didn't see kept women. We saw a lot of women get sick. We saw a lot of women with high blood pressure. We saw a lot of women get cheated on. We saw a lot of women had to go through their man's phone and husband's phone and cuss him out and all this kind of stuff and get put out and put him out, fighting and carrying on. We saw all these things go on and we're just like, what? So you grew up and you have a hope that you're going to be different. I get it. You see, I'm kind of talking straightforward because I'm really trying to just get this out because I know that a lot of women want to see it happen for them. Marriage does have its ancient roots, right? It does have a start. And I'm going to be 100% honest. The point of marriage was to legitimize a man's property. The passing down, the inheritance. So it was, because at first it used to be when a man had women and there were women that had children. And if he had children with multiple women, right, at the time of his passing, like literally you would have to, you got to pass the property down. You got to pass the land down. Now you got 3 or 4 women saying that my child, my son deserves his father's inheritance. Well, when you have children by different women, I mean, all the women are going to be mad because it's like my son deserves it, right? So it's just like the crown. Okay. The crown, which is, Great Britain or England, whatever, all that over there. And if you watch Queen Charlotte, do y'all remember? Some of y'all been following me a while. And you remember I used to tell y'all to look at Queen Charlotte and look at the Bridgertons. That gives you some insight to what marriage is about, what it was about, what the origin of marriage was. The origin of marriage was to carry on the bloodline, to carry on the bloodline of the man. Those women had suitors. Those men had to impress the women. Women had to look the part. They were trained to look the part, and they were trained to be selected. And they were trained to choose. The law of coverture. The law of coverture talks about this. They had to have suitors. Like if it was their time, 17, 18, 19 years old, which I said back then was young. A lot of them didn't do a lot of reading. A lot of them didn't do a lot of education because they wanted to be attractive to the men. Then furthermore, right? Furthermore, but that was only in the upper crest, right? So you have to remember that in the wealth trajectory, in the wealth realm, in the abundance realm, listen, that was normal. In the peasants realm, they didn't do any of those things, really. This is why they had to usher in romance. This is why they had to usher in kind of the Romeo and Juliet story. This is why they had to, bring in the Jasmine and Aladdin story. Aladdin was poor. Jasmine was rich. This is even why they conditioned you with the Whitley and the Dwayne Wayne story. She forsook Byron, the successful senator, for Dwayne Wayne, who was poor, always applying for jobs, always, he was a smart cookie. His mama was ghetto. His daddy was, an honest living man. But then Whitley came from money, and she came from a long line of, even going back, if you look at a Different World, one of those episodes, she was, her family owned slaves, so that was a big pill to swallow when she found that out. So she came from money. But the settlement was to what is it called? Was to get women to understand that every man ain't gonna have it. So you got to be okay with a man loving you, and that's enough. And he can just, support you and love you just the way you are. And, and sometimes you have to just give up the money, the senator, the successful man, the sultan, the prince, for Aladdin, for Dwayne Wayne. Dwayne Wayne was literally the flex. I wanted to find my Dwayne Wayne. Ah, I'm laughing at Whitney. Whitney, you on here? Whitney is like, girl, I watch you on my big screen. I love it. So that's kind of where we are. So now you have been gaslit. You had Tyler Perry to come out a while back saying that women need to just be okay with a man that can pay the light bill. You have podcasters that say, like, if a man is working hard and he should be able to, but you can't make women feel bad. Like, I'm not going to be successful. And this is kind of where I was very disappointed to see women be gaslit by people like Tyler Perry and, women that also had podcasts that built up followings and communities of men who were going after women and saying, ain't nothing wrong with a man that can pay some bills. Like, what you gonna do? You can't just sit up there and just have a man take care of you and Sometimes you're gonna have to understand that man is gonna need this, that, and the third. And it's like, but nobody is telling the men to step it up. We're just now seeing content geared towards men stepping it up, but a lot of men just don't invest in that type of preparedness. Men do not typically invest in being husbands. They don't train to be husbands. A lot of them do not do that. That's the reason why I believe Kevin Samuel shifted, because men don't pay to learn how to date like that. They don't learn how to do that. They may pay for matchmaking, but they're not generally going to pay to prepare themselves for being a husband. But you know who's going to pay to become a wife? Women. You know who is going to pay for feminine, energetic coaching and feminine? Women. Women are the biggest investors of personal development ever. You know, that's where we are. So women will pay to prepare themselves to become a wife. This is why it's easier to get women to pay and invest in themselves, even if you have to be gaslit to saying that you need to do this, you need to do that because the men are not this. But is anybody preparing the men? No. Because we don't have enough men to go around. That's the reason why it's so easy to do that. And there's an abundance of men. I never said that there wasn't abundance. There's a lot of men. There's an overflow of men. Because even men will tell you that, oh, well, women outnumber men. It's like 7-1. I'm like, that's a lie. Like there's literally an equal amount of men to women, probably about 2 to 3% off. That's a big lie. And I remember having a conversation with a man a while back, and he was saying, yeah, I think women, I was like, that's a lie. Maybe in certain cities, but at large in America, are you kidding me? There's almost an equal amount. Now, the question is that if it's not enough available men, that's a different question. Yes, a lot of men are incarcerated. Absolutely, especially Black men. Yes, you're absolutely correct. You have some men that are closeted. You also have some women who are, they're gay as well. There's so many different factors that come into play. So it's not the fact that there's not enough men. It's the fact of the matter is that we don't have enough men who are emotionally managed and responsible to handle a household. Men are not going to battle. They're not going to war. You're absolutely right, Allie. I agree. Like I even told a friend of mine, I was like, I'm sorry, but we need a draft. And he was like, what do you say that? I was like, no, we need a draft. We're wondering why our men are not stepping up to the plate is because they have been coddled. In fact, military numbers are so down. They're so down. I don't know what the percentages are, but they're very, very low. The enrollment is very low. So God forbid if some pop off in this country, I don't know how we're going to. But I said that the only way that I see that this thing shifts around and turns around is we send them boys off the war. And I know people saying, well, I don't want my son to fight for this country. If I had a son, that's mandatory for me. And I think it's pretty cool that all over the country, and I remember going to Egypt and finding this out, that every male child has to do 2 years in the military, 18 to 20 is mandatory. America doesn't have something like that. And I think we do. We need that. Like they need to learn leadership. Men do very well when it comes down to They have to be led and trained to be leaders. I don't think people understand that. That's the reason why a lot of times they always go to go ask your mom. What did your mom say? And you could tell military households versus households without a military. They're a lot more structured, they're a lot more disciplined. They're very leadership driven, right? And that's just Kyla said they need to write a passage. And I think that's culturally, we don't have any of that. Like a lot of cultures and ethnic groups have some sort of rites of passage from going from a child to a young woman or a young man, and giving them the conversations and ceremonies in order to bring them into another level of understanding and maturation of their body, their mind, their spirit, to now start thinking differently and grow up. We don't have that. A lot of us do not have that, unfortunately. So when women have a choice, marriages do go down. Children, birth rates do go down. That's just the reality. You know why? Because marriage was used to oppress, in so many ways, women. Yes, women have, had to be forced into marriage to survive. When I found out that my great grandmother, my great grandmother was 15 years old when she married my great grandfather, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And he was in his late 20s. So those of you who know my daughter is 16. So just imagine Maddie married. You see what I'm saying? That bothered me so bad because I was like, did it bother y'all that great grandmama was 15? Like she was 15. Just 15. She didn't even know herself. Legally, she couldn't even really drive with a license. You see what I'm saying? And so many, and I know that was the times. I already know people are going to say, well, that was the time. This is how it was back in the day. And I remember hearing people having conversations and stories where their great grandmothers and great grandmothers were literally 10. The youngest I've ever heard was somebody's great grandmother being 8 years old when she got married. Black. And these are for men who had property, and this was during a little bit of Reconstruction and during the it's very interesting. I just think, 8 years old. The earliest I've ever heard was 8. And that's back then, like during Reconstruction and right at the beginning of Jim Crow era, a lot of Black women were married very young. And you got to remember this, y'all, too, is that child brides are still a thing. Like even in the world, like this is not like they're still practicing this in different parts of the world. Like this is still a thing. There are brides that are 7, 8, 9 years old. We cannot act like this ain't happening. This is actually still happening. This is why I said children are the most oppressed group in the world. Child trafficking, all of those things are happening in real time. Like seriously, this is happening in 2024. Are y'all kidding me? Yes. This is exactly why a lot of our grandmothers and a lot of great grandmothers would have conversations with women like myself, the millennial generation, saying, take your butt to school. Take your butt to school, get a trade, get a certification, get your license, get this, get that, get independent, because they didn't want us to turn like them. But the sacrifice was this, though. The sacrifice is that we had to choose either career first or family first. You know? As some women chose career first. Some women, like myself, I chose family first. I was married literally right out of college. Right out of college. Like I got out of college, I walked across the stage. 6 months later, I was married. But then I noticed how much I gave my power to my husband, and I was not able to get myself together professionally. So I did that after. And so as a result, when I got married again, I got selfish with myself. And it was a detriment to our marriage because I really was like very, very like I'm not gonna give my power away again. But I didn't understand how that worked because I wasn't trained to think that way. I wasn't trying to think like, oh, let me, be of service to my husband. I didn't know. And not saying I will go back and I don't have any regrets. Let me just make sure I'm clear on it. But but I want to just say too, is when women are more financially independent, obviously we are very we focus on self. But then there's also this longing for relationships, and I get it. I understand. And a lot of women are going through grieving because they still want it. But dating takes a lot of time. Dating takes a lot of energy. Dating takes a lot of effort, especially when you are alone and you are trying to vet men out and have an experience and you don't know how to, what is it called, navigate yourself. You don't really understand. Like some men have gotten very good at narcissism. A lot of men are very good at making you think. And you hear the stories. You hear stories. And I think sometimes too, people are very insensitive when they share different stories. Like, oh, I knew my husband, my husband told me after 2 months of dating that we got married and we've been married for 25 years. Oh, me and my husband, my wife and I met her 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we got married and we got engaged and all this kind of we've been together for 45 years. Like, you got to consider the times. You can't do that now. When I found out they had groups of tens of thousands of men in that group that were talking about how to trick women to sleep with them, like giving them gifts and courting them, quote unquote, courting them, and then making it seem as if that you were going to, and then you get with them and then they leave you alone. I knew then, I was like, this is not okay. We are not okay. Like, this is turning to something else. I often say too is that when they got rid of R&B, when R&B left, R&B is done. And there are people that still trying to keep R&B alive. The record companies do not want that because record companies want to program people to believe a certain thing, which is why you don't hear romantic songs. You don't hear R&B on the radio. Like Isley Brothers and all of them, like they're dying out. They're leaving. So you got a lot of music out here that is anti-romance, anti-love. Like that dude, I don't know if y'all saw on TikTok where that dude had that video where he it was her birthday and he decorated the bedroom or the hotel room and the bed had face down up and she looked so embarrassed. Y'all ain't talking. I don't know if y'all listen or YouTube broke. Like this video. Let me know if you're still here. Give me some hearts if you're still here watching. Like I said, I don't know if you too broke, but but I just need y'all to understand a couple of things. Number one, um, if you don't have time to date, just right now, chill out. Like, chill out. You may have to chill out for a minute. Let these men figure it out. I think I was telling a friend this recently, a couple of months ago. I said, let these men figure it out. Right now, they're not okay. A lot of them it will take another probably about 2 to 3 years for them to get it together and realize like, no, women are fine if they die alone. It's the men that's not going to be okay if they die alone. You know, there are some men that are very desperate for wives. Like they don't care how you feel about them. They don't care how they feel about your ambitions and your goals. They don't care about your dreams. They just want you to come in, move in, or whatever, and cook and clean for them. A lot of them don't want to die by themselves because a lot of them don't go to the doctor. They don't take care of themselves. They don't. And if they do go to the doctor, they're afraid of catching some type of cancer or whatever. And they are kind of they're trying to figure it out themselves because their children halfway don't fool with them. So they're leaning depend on a woman to love them and nurse them. So you have to think about that too. Men are very transactional. I have learned that over time. I have seen that over time. Men are very transactional. They want you to share your body with them for cheap or for nothing. You know. So and so good for them. Good for them. Somebody said my brother asked his wife to marry him after 2 months. They were engaged for a year and then just celebrated 23. See, the times are different. That we are not in that was 23 years ago when that was like R&B was still alive. Things were very different. Just 20 years ago. Literally, because what is that? 20 years was, I graduated from college. Was it 19 years ago? So that's not that long ago. We still have romance up into that point. Like college, I remember getting flowers and all this kind of stuff. And not to say you're not getting flowers now, but you didn't know all of these beliefs and you were literally in the dark about how some men really felt. And then some of them really did like you. Some of them really were in love with you. But now there's a different narrative. A lot of sons are not being raised by their fathers. And we can go back and forth about that, right? Like we can say, oh, well, all these women, and this is what happens, and women did this, and it was women's fault. And it's not women's fault, totally. I always tell like people, I understand why they blame single mothers for the boys. I understand that. But that's we gotta hold men accountable as well. Men left, or they ventured away. Whatever happened, the men left. Okay, so the woman had to do what she had to do. She didn't have a choice. This is why it's so good to have a balance in the home, the masculine and the feminine. If the masculine was in the home, you probably would have had another turnout. If there's a heavy masculine in the home, that's just what it is. If there's a heavy feminine in the home, if the woman, and I'm going to tell you what that looks like, right? So when the woman has not emotionally managed herself or learned emotional tools to keep herself managed, if she was a single mom trying to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to keep a roof over her head because she wasn't getting child support, she wasn't getting this, that, and the third, she was probably on food stamps and all this other stuff, and she had 3 or 4 kids to feed because the man ran off or whatever, then guess what's going to happen? She has to do what she has to do. The children had to raise themselves. There was a lot of trauma in the home. Even women bringing in boyfriends because she thinking in her mind, like, this may be the one. This may be it. I need somebody to help me take care of my kids. My kids need a daddy. They were not in the right mind to understand the dynamics of relationships. And I think that that is such a worrisome fact to keep bringing up and a talking point to keep bringing up, because I empathize with women. I empathize with mothers. I empathize with women who had to raise children alone, because it is not easy. That's why I stopped at one. I was like, no, I ain't bringing no more children to this world. These men acting like this. One and done. I'm done. And thank God that I got a girl. Thank God she's a girl. Thank God she's a girl, But I'm telling you this because I have a philosophy about boys. I said that if I did have a boy, I would raise that baby up until about 12, 13 years old. And then I would say, okay, baby, you got to go live with your daddy. I'm going to come and get you every other weekend, 2 times during the week, and we can go, but your daddy got to raise you. I don't know anything. I don't know jack squat about being a man. I'm going to nurture you, and then you're going to have to go with dad. I was prepared for that if that had to happen. And I had a friend to do that. She raised her children up to 12, and then she shipped her sons off to live with their father. And I respected her for that. And she sees and she gets her sons often. But I just think that sometimes when we don't have a good relationship with the fathers, that the women have to do it alone. And when a woman does not know how to raise herself because of her own inner child issues, she has to do what she has to do. You cannot blame a woman that lacked a lot of comment or wisdom. She lacked wisdom. So all she knew how to do was survive. So that is what cultivated the type of resentment that we have with parents right now. A lot of people are resenting their parents and their mothers because mothers were trying to survive. And unfortunately, that was also by design, because you have to have a permanent underclass. That's the whole point. When you have, I told y'all a long time ago, emotional women make emotional babies. And when you have emotional babies, they grow up to become emotional adults if they don't catch on. And when you are becoming an emotional adult, then you are absolutely primed to become a permanent underclass category. Because the more emotional you are, the more tribal you are. Does that make sense? Emotional people are more tribal. Is that a bad thing in the patriarchal capitalistic society? Yes, it is. If we were tribal people, we wouldn't need all these different systems in place. We could raise our children to be in community with one another. We could have men that actually loved us for real, for real, for real, because they wouldn't have all this pressure to perform. You see what I'm saying? So in a capitalist society, men have to perform. Does that make sense? Men have to perform, and a lot of them just don't have bandwidth. They're lazy. This is why women have to step up. This is why I also say women are very powerful in so many ways, and they know that, which is why sometimes when they give women freedom, women will run circles around men. That's what they know for sure. They know this. Look at the stats. The stats are showing you women are completing college. Women are killing it in the corporate industry. They're killing it in entrepreneurship. Like, women are hitting it. Women are making money. They're going on trips. They're doing their healing. Like, women are traveling, digital nomads. They're meeting interesting people all over the world. They're not going necessarily to find husbands in different parts of the world. They're just being exposed to different people in parts of the world, and they're finding love of their life in other spaces. Men are taking their $200, $300 in passports and going to a third world country trying to bring in a woman when that woman is 10 times smarter on strategy than he is, because she already know, I just want the green card, boo. That's all I want. Because when I get over there and I get my green card, I'm leaving you. Because it's poor over there. Those women are surviving. They know strategy. A lot of women in different places in other third world countries, they know game. Oh, I'm going over here to find me a wife. Good luck, sir. because those women will tear you up. They don't mind slashing your throat in the middle of the night. Come on, somebody, and take all you got, which is barely nothing. And yeah, I said that on camera. American women, however, is having issues. They know game. Exactly. Allison, Melania Trump, she know game. She know it. I think that people do not understand. Oh my God, do they love each other? Do they love each other? Like y'all sound crazy. Y'all sound crazy. Y'all sound cray. Melania knew game. They know game. It's a lot of these men that don't know game. It's a lot of women that don't understand game. This is a game. And when when men used to say things like, I want you to be my peace and you need to be my peace. And I'm like, do y'all understand the feminine is nowhere near peaceful? Like, what are you talking about? Women are not peaceful. What are you saying? Women are not supposed to be peaceful. We're not peaceful. We're not like what? Like, I'm gonna say this: when you take us out of our element, we're a little chaotic. So you got to get ready for that. Like we're and I remember this woman, I forgot who was it. A woman? It was a man that said this. Like one of a man's like flexes is for their wives to stress them out about money. Like it is something that they brag about. Like, man, my wife is hammering up my budget. Like she is. I'm so sick of Amazon boxes coming. They're actually bragging. Like I used to hear my dad say that, like, oh, your mom is just shopping, just shopping. And I used to be like, oh my God, like, oh my God. But it's a brag. She loved TJ Maxx and she loved this and she loved Marshalls and da da da. And I used to be like, what? Like what? But that is a brag point. You're supposed to keep him stressed. I'm sorry. I just and men love that. I don't know why people don't understand it. Men love it. Like keep him stressed. That way he can't go nowhere else. Are you kidding me? You too peaceful. They need excitement in their life. Why do you think that sometimes they go to the brothels and all this other stuff? They need excitement. What do you think? Like that's crazy. Listen to yourself. Be the chaos. Be the excitement. Be the woman that keep you on the toes. That's if you're gonna do that. Don't be bratty, but definitely be extra. Like stress him out. You're supposed to. You're supposed to make sure that he's. Nigga said this is a hot topic. Is this the most amount of people who showed up live? No, we have more than this. If people asleep too, it's 8:30. It's okay. They're gonna come back and watch. They're gonna come back and watch. But you have to stress them out. Mm? I was a man once told me, you teach me patience. Absolutely. Like men love that. Men that are equipped and energetically equipped to handle a chaotic woman. And see, that's what I'm saying. That's another thing. A lot of men are not capable of doing that because they don't have anything going on. When a man doesn't have anything going on and they literally have nothing, they want a compliant woman because they have no integrity. So when they want you to be this peaceful doormat, they really want you to just man their children. They want you to take care of their kids because you know they got a lot of them, and so they get custody of them or whatever, get them on the weekends, and they want their woman to take care of them children while he go out and do whatever he want to do. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Allison, you're supposed to have a them. If you're single, you're supposed to have a them. You're supposed to have more than one. You're supposed to. But at the same time, you have to realize like this is why you have to have discernment. You have to listen to your body, you have to listen to your mind. A lot of women don't know how to use their discernment. Even though their discernment is working for them, they don't know how to trust themselves with the information that spirit is giving them. Like, okay, you probably need to leave this dude alone. Look at what he just did. Look at how he treated that woman. Look at how, you see what I'm saying? This is why I tell women to shut your mouth. Let that man talk. He gonna tell on himself. He gonna tell on himself every single time. He gonna tell himself everything. I don't talk when I go out to dinner and things like that with men. I don't talk like that, especially when I'm getting to know it's like the first couple of days or first couple of outings, and I ask all the questions. I let him sit there and talk, and I'd be like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, interesting. I'm making mental notes, and I'm an observer, so I am very different when it comes down to how, like, I don't listen to just enjoy. I listen to, interesting. So you don't have ambition. And again, when men call you big money, mm-mm, you got it. Gonna end here, buddy. Because you're letting me know that you're just not there. You're not there and you're not taking advantage of me. So you really have to start listening. You have to start listening. And then you be like, oh, okay, okay. Now you have men that really just don't know how to hide. They don't know how to hide. And the podcasts are very telling. So I just want you to be mindful. I want you to think about your health. I want you to think about your protection. I want you to think about your safety. I just want you to be open to meeting people organically. And I'm gonna tell you this, I think one of the best ways to meet people is by way of relationships and connections where you're not even thinking about necessarily dating, but you end up becoming acquaintances with a man or acquaintances with a person, and you know them by mutual, and you can ask about people, right? You can ask them about, this person, that person can ask about you. And then there's some way that y'all connect on a non-romantic level. And then it's almost like this man is like falling for you. As you can see in my head, I've created a whole narrative. And you just end up like, wow, we have so much in common, but at the end of the day, dating takes a lot of energy. And so it's not like it used to be. And this is why I tell women, like, if you're married, stay married, even if you have to build a house on the back, build a room on the back because you can't stand him anymore. Wait a minute, baby. If you're not being like physically abused or financially abused and stuff like that, like, and he just get on your nerves, like, just go to another room in the house. Don't do yourself out like this, especially if you are not emotionally capable of taking care of yourself. And that's something that you're going to have to learn. Nikki said I was thinking about getting back on dating apps for 30 days. Don't do that. Mm-mm. A lot of those, y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I tried dating apps for probably 2 weeks, and this was like back in 2019-ish. And I was like, I'm getting off of here. So every time I met a man, it was organically. It was coffee shop. It was not meeting him at the coffee shop and going on a date on the coffee shop. No, it was not. I don't accept dates going to a coffee shop. Absolutely not. I will never, ever, ever accept a date or ever accept any man telling me, let's go and have coffee. You are offending me, sir. Get out of my face. I don't like you. You psycho. You poor man. Not happening. And I don't care. I don't care if you met your husband at the coffee shop and y'all went on a date in the coffee shop. It's not working for me. I'm not doing it. Nope. Mika said I'm not dating until 2030. We got to make it there. 2030 is a very pivotal year, but that's another live. Carlos said my partner built me a 1 bedroom in the back. Love him, but sir, please. I love the builds. Yes, honey. We love a man that can build. I think that's awesome. Build me my own she shed. That's what I want. I want a she shed so I can go out there and take my naps and you don't bother me. That's what I want. I want a man that can build a house. I'm the girl in a relationship. I'm the pink. I'm the flowers. I'm the dainty one in the relationship. Build me a house. But a lot of men just don't know. They don't even have bank accounts. So you have to think about that too. A lot of them have Cash App as their main bank account. Like that's kind of diabolical to me. So I just want y'all to think about, like, if you are not going to like lay down and have a baby for a man and risk your life, okay, don't marry him either. Like, if you don't see yourself having babies with this man, like, don't even lay down with him. Just say, oh, I just need somebody that, no, transmute all that energy, like Think and Grow Rich. Transmute all that energy over into your projects. Let these men figure it out. You need to travel and expose yourself to new cultures, new people, new opportunities. And you never know. That's why I tell women the best thing, in my humble opinion, is you need to be in spaces where you're exposed to people that can eventually introduce you or expose you to other people. Tyler, keep him, girl. I love that. Keep him. Elocin said I had a guy once trying to take me to botanical gardens. I left him on red because get out of my face. Because I'm not just going to walk. I don't want to walk. But it's botanical gardens nice. No, it's not. It's free. And I know there are men gonna say, well, just because a man taking me, nope. Find somebody else. And see, men like women like me, they want to conquer me so bad. They really do. They see me as a challenge. They see me as a challenge. They see me as a challenge. They see a woman like me. Now, like, okay, so let's just be honest, 100%. I'm 41 years old. So technically, I'm out of the dating range as far as the young women, right? So that's fine. I'm good. I've been hot before, so I know what it's like to be hot. Okay. Baby, I wish I could find these pictures from college, baby, because I was something else. I used to look at my son and be like, I would have talked to me if I was a dude. But so I know what hot feels like because I was hot. I had my hot years. Okay. I was a little hot toddy. Okay. But at 41 years old, sometimes, men, they talk to me and they're just like, I really want to, but I'm very smart. And I am one of those women where I'm like, not going to work with me. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So when they say, how many times have you been married? I've been married twice. How many times have you been proposed to? 4. I've been asked, you know. So I am one that they want to conquer and sit down. I've had that experience. I've had men to tell me, like, why can't you have more than one? Allison, my guy Fred saw you once because I showed him to you and he said, ooh, she's so bad. I love it. I love it. My daughter will say things like, "Mommy, the boys, like every time you get out the car, like sometimes I would let Maddie drive to school. That's why I'm be having my camera on her because I be so nervous. But I have to get out and I have to get out of a car. And see, when I go out, like except for the last few times, like I hate winter. I am not a winter girly. I can't stand winter. Thank y'all so much. Y'all so funny. Um um So I saw your question. Who is it? Falones, Beauty on the Go. I got your question. I'm answering in just a second. But one of the things for me, I don't like the winter. So in the summertime, I like because I'm a summer baby. Obviously, I'm Cancer, June 27th. And so me and my daughter, I would get out and go to the other side, and then like her friends be like, "Oh my God, your mom's so hot." Like, they're because they see this hair, but they don't know when I take this off. I got twists. My natural hair is under here, and like I take my eyebrows off, they're gonna be like, "Girl, mm." No, so no, but I'm playing though. But but I've always been like a girly girl, right? So I've been a girl's girl, girly girl. And I just like playing dress up sometimes and feeling feminine and feeling good about myself. So some men look at that and be like, "Well, I want to conquer her, I want to conquer her," right? So, but the thing is that um because I know those things about myself, it's the fact of the matter is that I know that where my energy has to go is towards my child because she's in a vulnerable age. She's 16 years old, and I had to sacrifice and not get married until she was old enough. And so, I put off a lot of dating because I'm trying to raise a child. And I don't want to bring no man up in here, or no man, he wouldn't come up in here anyway. But I wouldn't want to move my child in a place where, I want her to be comfortable, right? So that's why I had to, discipline myself and say, let me get her off to her life. Then I can worry about Jay, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm patient. I'm not in a rush. That's me. I'm not even having any more kids either. So that's that because I'm definitely not having if I get pregnant, I'm off, like, I'm getting off the internet. Y'all won't know. Y'all be like, Coach J just popped up with a baby. Like, where did baby come from? Oh, it's a baby. It's his baby though, but it's whatever. No, ain't happening. Anyway, let me go back. She said, Falon said, what about if they ask to buy you a drink, met them on the day now? I don't like day naps. I'm not a dating app girly. I'm like, okay, so let me start there. It's me. I don't do like I don't I this is how I see it. I'm sorry. I don't try I don't audition. I don't audition for girlfriend or whatever. I don't audition for that. And I feel like that's an audition. When a man say I want to take you to, get a drink, they're trying to spend the least. He's 43, right? Oh, girl. Don't date. How old are you, Falon? I hope I'm saying it right. Falon, how old are you? I would not date any man in the 40s. I'm sorry. Don't. I don't date any man in my 40s. I think it's lazy, to be honest. I think it's very lazy. If a man knows, like, I feel like if he talks to you, 35. Okay, okay. For long, you need to date 50. You need to date 50 plus. Not too old, but you need to do 50s. That's not too bad. I think you need to do 50, honey. 52 is fine. Just as long as he is chivalrous. Men, when men are in their 50s, that's like the last generation of the chivalry. A lot of those men they were raised to open car doors. Like, I look at all that, like, open doors for me, right? Do those things for me. Buy me dinner. You should be able to talk to me and get a clear sense of who I am. And that way is, but to buy me a drink, he is trying to cheapen the experience. He's trying to try you out. Do I want to spend more money on her, or can I just woo her right here? Because if you accept little like that, he's going to expect you to accept little all the time. And you are a woman. This is why I said, like, if you're like, I don't believe in dating. I believe in courtship. And a man who is courting you would never ask you for a drink. I believe women should be courted. Period, point blank, end of story. I was always courted. I know what courtship looks like because I was courted. I do not believe in no kind of get a drink and talk. No. Go walk through a park and talk. No. You're going to spend money on me. You're going to take me out. You're going to take me to a nice restaurant, and I'm going to feel safe. I'm going to feel great. You're going to open up all the doors. You're going to, like, he's auditioning to be in your life, not the other way around. You have to always remember, like, when you look at the feminine, right? The feminine should always feel secure in herself first. She should always feel secure in herself first. And then what you do is, like, you're pouring love into yourself. This is why I said, like, when women say they love themselves, prove it. Prove it by making money. Prove it by investing in yourself. Prove it by getting your hair done. Prove it by your wardrobe. Prove it by your space. Like, you want to create in beautiful, pretty spaces. Like, me and my daughter, we're getting ready to move next weekend. We are behind schedule, by the way, because we got to pick it up because we got to move. And we're moving into a much bigger space, and it's going to give us more room and things like that. And we're going to be out in the country, which I'm really excited about. But I'm trying to tell y'all, you've got to invest in yourself so that when you treat yourself good, it's hard for you to accept anything less than how you would treat yourself. Even if your parents and all this stuff, like, oh, my dad didn't treat me like this. My mom, see, I grew up with a father. So my father used to open doors for us. He'd take out trash. My dad even sometimes cooked. So I knew what it was like to grow up with a daddy in the home. And my dad was like, if a dude was acting up, he would kick the dude off, like, you got to go. Like, my dad was one of them. He would tell the dude straight to his face I was talking to, like, you got to get out of here. Like, you will not. I would have to show you in pictures, Sasha. Like, I would have to show matriarchs in a private setting because, Memphis is Memphis. I already know. So, yeah. So, but I just believe in chivalry, and I believe in being a gentleman. Okay. Like, I need you to be a gentleman. I need you to care. I need you to care. I need you to care that I'm a woman, and I'm fine. So a man coming into my life has to add to the peace that I already have. Like, you can't come in, like, I have to be peaceful for myself. So if you're coming in, you have to be my peace. You can't cause me to be erratic. That's emotionally off. So this is why a man comes into a woman's space, because he knows that she's chaotic and all over the place. He knows that she's emotional. So when a woman is able to relax, this is when we say relax in your feminine. A woman cannot relax in her feminine if she's always, like, on the go. So if you're going to come into her life, you got to make it worthwhile for her to put whatever she's doing, not necessarily down per se, but to ease up from what she's doing, to come in, and she don't have to be as focused on building. She can build steadily and with ease and be herself. Do you think a man should like expect a woman to cook? I think a man should expect a woman to just be the woman. And if she wants to cook for her man, she can cook for her man. If she doesn't feel like cooking that day, then doggone gonna get takeout. But if I feel like cooking, if a man treats me right, honey, I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna cook a 5-star meal. I'm gonna get recipes. I'm taking cooking classes. Put me in all the cooking classes. I'm doing all the things. I want to learn because I'm not a good baker. I've never been a good baker, but I love desserts. But put me in baking classes. I'll do that. My man put me in here, girl. My man is good, honey. I'm finna go. Listen, when I say my man, I mean it. Like Elocin, what? Coaching who? My man too good to be, girl. I'm finna go ahead. But see, guess what? If something was to happen to me and him, if something happens where we did split, or something happens where I had to start, I knew I would know how to start over. I wouldn't have to like go to therapy and do all this extra stuff. I know how to pick myself up day one because I have a skill set. You see what I'm saying? I know how to build for myself because I've done it before. That's the whole point. That's all I'm saying. Is that when a woman knows how to build, she don't have to start from ground zero. She knows how to do it. And a wife and a woman is supposed to enhance the man's life in terms of appearance, image. A kept wife means that the man is doing something right. I've always said that a badge of honor to a man is that if his wife is in her creative, she's in her feminine, she's having fun, she's, doing her little thing. Like I love to see wives cook. Like I look at some of y'all stories and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love that because you have the liberty to do so. And when your man is a good man, you don't mind doing for your household. You're supposed to. But if you got a man that's like out here like doing all this stupid stuff and being silly and not building and not, and there's a lot of men that are just too lazy for me. So don't accept anything less than your best, but you have to give yourself the best. That's why I'm big on women building. So that if you want to travel, you want to get up and go wherever you want to go, you do that for yourself. And you marry in alignment to that, or you date or get courted in alignment to that. Like if you say, do you travel? And if you, I don't go, oh, okay, because I travel. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to Belize. Oh yeah, because Saturday I'm going to Canada for like 7 days, or I'm going to Greece for like 3 weeks. That's very unfortunate. And if you ain't got no passport, I definitely can't talk to you. Because what are we doing? I'm sorry. Because even if I have to speak, you can't even go with me. We got to wait on your passport. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no. Not happening. So that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. I think you should focus on yourself. I think you should focus on yourself. I think you should focus on yourself for now. I think one of the reasons why a lot of women are trying to still get, have hope for those dating apps is simply because you are afraid of being by yourself. You're afraid of having the story of, I had to do this by myself. But I will say this too, is that single women report higher life satisfaction and they live longer than men. Actually, single men do not live longer than single women. Single women actually live way longer than single men. And single women actually talk about how much freedom they have as a single woman. I'm going to be honest with you, coming from the other side, and I know I was in my 20s when I got married, but I did more living single than I did married. I just did. I mean, that's just the God honest truth. I actually enjoy my autonomy, but I do understand that some women still want, that's why I'm always like, I want to see my friends get married. I want to see my friends, enjoy the love of their life, I'm fine. Like some of them are like, "Oh, Jay, I really," and I know they want me to be married because they think I'm like, "Oh my gosh, but Jay, you're so sweet." Da, da, da. But I'm like, girl, I'm fine. I'm like, girl, I'm just gonna give me an old 60-year-old boyfriend and call it a day. Like, I don't. And to be honest, like some women have asked me, like, would you ever get married again? No, I don't want to get married. I have no desire to get married again. Do I want a companion? Yes. When the time is absolutely right, I'm open to a companion, but I am not looking to get married again. I don't have a desire to get married again. I think marriage for me is to bear children and all that stuff, and I don't have a desire to do that, so it's really no need. I mean, unless that man just really makes the offer very, very good, that's the only way I'll just be like, okay, all right, I'll be Mrs. Whatever. But he's gonna have to come with it. And I mean it. I kind of like my space. I've grown to love my space. I love getting and going to sleep and coming and going as I please. Like when you have to check in with somebody and I'm here with it. I gotta get better at that. But I don't have a desire to get married again, but I will go to all the weddings. So if y'all get engaged and y'all really like the men, you probably need to let me meet them because I can tell from a mile away a man that is legit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, marriage is always and not always beneficial for women. It's not. It's unless he makes an offer, like the offer has to be good. And I'm serious. When I say marriage is a business, it's an institution, I mean what I say. That man has to provide you a space to birth his children because those are going to be his children. All Alice, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Um, if he don't give you the space to birth his children, what are we doing? Mm-mm. He needs to already have his stuff set in place for a family, especially in 2024. So if he is not making that offer very crystal clear, like I got a house, and put my name on all the paperwork, deeds, insurances, beneficiaries, I need to be on a deed of trust. I need to be on everything. I need to be on titles. I need to be on everything you got. I want to know where everything is. What are the account numbers? I need all of it. Mm-mm. Nope, you're not gonna do me like that. I'm just telling you. I'm just, and a lot of men don't think like that no more. They don't think like that like they used to. So that's why I said you probably have to. You're a lot of these men are in the affluent class. A lot of these men are in the affluent and in the provider class. Like even if they're upper middle class or higher middle class, these men are providers, right? So they're providers and this is another thing that just because they're providers doesn't mean they're kind. You have to have a kind provider man. I like to see spouses also be friends. I'm not saying like best friends and BFFs. I'm talking about like you care about my well-being. Like it's not just about paying the bills. Like I need to come to you and vent. I need to come to you and cry. I need to come to you and holler and scream about not about you, but about other stuff. I need you to sit there and agree with me. I used to have a partner that, me and him were on and off, and he used to be like, I said, I just need you to listen. I just need you to agree with everything I'm saying. He's like, okay, just let me hear. That's the cancer, like that's the Cancerian. Like, and you just sit there and listen. Like, for real, she did that, or he did that. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I used to go off. And he's like, I'm like, you see my way, right? So put some pour into yourself. That's what I tell people, like, as a coach, I'm very different. With a man, I'm super different. If I can be in my feminine with a man, I'm completely different. Like, I'm more relaxed, I'm more chill, but I also cause chaos in his life. If I want to go somewhere, I want to go somewhere that day. Or I want to do something, I want to try this, I want to go to this play, I want to go to that play, I want to go to this place, I want to go, and I want to go. So take care of yourself, make your own money, invest in your health, invest in your appearance, get fit, be a snack, get back to your hotness, invest in your skincare. I use Clinique. I'm 41, so I'm big on, skincare and stuff like that. Drink a lot of water, take your vitamins, go walking, get your vitamin D and all this stuff, but take care of yourself. Make money. Make money so that you could take better care of yourself, the best care for yourself. Go to the spa, have your emotional management toolkit, whether it's going to the spa, getting massage, facials, esthetician, get your esthetician on board, get your lashes done if you do lashes. I don't typically do lashes because I wear contacts. And I know that there are lashicians and stuff like that specialize. I get irritated. My eyes get very irritated from lashes. So that's why I got to get LASIK. I need to do that at some point, but I don't want stuff in my eye like that. I'm here looking in the mirror while you say be a snack. Yes, absolutely, Kyla. Be a snack always. That's your life. Everybody needs to, in 2025, this is what I want everybody to do. I need you to be in the best possible shape of your life. I need everybody to get skinny. Okay. Be skinny in 2025. Okay. I need you to be a snack. Get your skin cleared up. Go find your esthetician. Make some money. Go get your esthetician. Pour into yourself. Okay. You need to go on trips, meet other people, lose all the excess weight. I lost 51 pounds this year, 51 and counting. 51 pounds. That's me. I was 51 pounds. I'm now in a size 8. I went from a 14, 16 to an 8. And it was just a lot of stress on my body. That's all it was. It was number stress. And now I'm sleeping good. I feel good. I got to go shopping. I got to go shopping for brand new clothes because none of my clothes barely fit. So, and I'm waiting till I get my new place to do all that because I don't want to do all that right now because we got too much going on. But yes, a new wardrobe, all of that. And I'm just really excited. I'm really excited for life. And yes, so I'm in a size 8. So my job is to get in single digits. My goal is to get down to a 6. I really want to get down to a 4, but I don't want to get to a 4. But if I get to a 4, I'm okay with that. But to a 6 is my target, and I'm good with that. So, yes. Did y'all enjoy that? Travel, travel, travel. Enjoy your life. If you want to join the MCO Leadership School, it's open. We're going to be talking a lot about that. Women have to take care of themselves. And that's going to be a part of our curriculum. It's self-care routines, and all of that good stuff. So I'm really excited about that. I love y'all. Have a beautiful rest of y'all's night. And we will talk very soon. I have a very busy day tomorrow. So perhaps over the weekend, I'll probably go live again. All right. Take care, y'all. Get your rest. Bye.